Now at 6, a look at the impact wounded JPD officer Rick Hershey left at a local school when he served as a resource officer. Plus, 2 more suspects are sentenced in a Lawrence County murder and kidnapping case. And how Missourians can get a partial refund of the state's gasoline tax.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
2 officers killed in the line of duty, 1 officer seriously injured, a community left in mourning. This is KOAM News at 6. Last week's tragic events hit the entire Joplin community hard. That includes the staff and students at Eastmoreland Elementary who have a special connection with the injured officer. KOAM's Chris Warner has that story.
The events of last week have had a deep impact on Eastmoreland Elementary in Joplin. The scene of the second shooting at 9th and Connecticut was in Eastmoreland's attendance area. The school had to develop alternative plans to get students home safely that afternoon. But it's hit closer to home with the school. Officer Rick Hershey, who was seriously injured, spent the last 15 years as Eastmoreland's school resource officer.
It's been hard to take this information, but we know that he will recover, and he is a strong man.
Officer Hershey stepped down from the SRO position at the end of the last school year. Principal Heather Serbrug says his impact on the school was significant.
Just working with the students was definitely his sweet spot. He has such a huge heart for kids of all ages, and he wants them to be successful and wonderful citizens, and he strove so hard to make sure that happened, and his connections and relationships with our students was just fantastic.
Because he was the SRO up until last year, many current students are aware of what's happened to their beloved friend, and Serbrug says that's been one of the tougher parts of pushing through the past several days.
Honestly, we've just tried to take a positive spin that he was serving, and that is what they're called to do, and just that we're maintaining our thoughts with him and his precious family and the entire JPD.
The news of what happened to Officer Hershey has taken a toll on staff as well.
It just absolutely made me sick to my stomach with concern and wanted, I don't know, we just wanted to take his pain away.
Officer Hershey was instrumental in getting the Rise Above program started at Eastmoreland. 5th grade teacher Kyle Graves worked closely with Officer Hershey in that program, which was aimed at teaching students how to avoid dangerous situations like drugs and alcohol. Graves says it was Hershey's connection to the students that made the biggest difference.
I've never seen anything like it. Officer Hershey could enter a room, kids start smiling, and they're up out of their seat before I can even give them a chance to, tell everybody, let's continue to have a seat. They were super excited to see him.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
The officer last listed in serious but stable condition. Serbrug says Eastmoreland is collecting coins for cops, a fundraiser to provide a meal to the Joplin Police Department. She adds any money left over will be donated to the officers' families and to the Joplin Police Department. Mourners are paying their respects to Corporal Ben Cooper, who was killed in last week's shooting. Public paying their respects right now. Visitation underway at the Leggett and Platt Athletic Center at MSSU. It continues until 8 tonight. The funeral for Cooper will be one tomorrow at the same location. Corporal Cooper was 46 years old. Missouri's Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe ordered all U.S. and Missouri flags be flown at half-staff at all government buildings in Jasper and Newton counties in honor of Corporal Cooper. Funeral services will also take place this week for Officer Jake Reed, killed in the same encounter. These services will also be at the Leggett and Platt Center. Visitation will be on Thursday from 4 to 8 p.m. That funeral will be on Friday at 1. Officer Reed was 27. Let's check in with Nick Kelly for a first look at the weather.
And as advertised out, we had quite a bit of cloud cover to start this new work week out. But so far, even though the clouds look like they're collecting a lot of moisture, we have not seen anything come out of the clouds yet. And that's been the story throughout the entire day. That being said, more moisture is getting pulled in ahead of our next storm system that's actually working in. We're seeing some very light showers popping also across parts of Lynn and Bourbon counties, and more showers trying to get going across Cherokee County and down into northeastern Oklahoma. Other than that, much of the area is still relatively dry, but the front of the surface coming our way along with this upper level wave, that's going to be the driving force behind our increase in just scattered showers, light showers as we go through the rest of the evening. Now, will the radar look exactly like how the future track looks here? Not really, but it's picking up on the right idea that we'll have scattered showers for some off and on throughout the course of the evening and into tomorrow morning. And that will mean temperatures don't drop off very much. Most of us in the lower to middle 40s by tomorrow morning, Dow. And I've got another system I'm tracking in the next few days. We'll break that down in the full forecast in a bit.
See you then. A Lawrence County, Missouri judge sentences 2 more suspects in a kidnapping and murder case. Authorities say Andrew Seipert of Billings and Lyle DeLong of Scott City were 2 of 9 suspects involved in the kidnapping of 2 women and the murder of one, Sarah Pascoe, in August of 2020. Seipert and DeLong both pled guilty to charges of second-degree murder and kidnapping. The judge sentenced them each to 32 years in prison. 4 other suspects in this case have already been sentenced. You can learn more about those sentences and the case on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Missourians are encouraged to save their gas receipts so they can apply for a refund on the state's fuel tax later this year. Now, last October, the state increased its fuel tax from 17 cents per gallon to 19.5 cents per gallon. The Department of Revenue says residents can submit a claim for a refund on that additional 2.5 cents per gallon. The refund covers purchases made after October 1st of last year. You can apply from July 1st through September 30th.
The receipt will have most of the information on it, but not all. You need to have the VIN number for the vehicle that it went into. You need the date purchased and the seller of the gasoline, the number of gallons that the tax was collected on.
The Department of Revenue is working to create an online system for residents to file their refund claims. City of Joplin says residents will see a rise in the cost of trash and recycling services starting next month. The new rate for trash service will be 2% higher, which comes out to an average of roughly 24 cents. So customers living in single-family houses and duplexes will pay $12.65 a month. Recycling services will go up 9 cents, making the monthly rates $4.59 starting on April 1st. Coming up, the Pittsburgh Public Library hosts a scavenger hunt for kids on spring break. Plus, efforts in Missouri to address the state's high maternal mortality rate. Pittsburgh Public Library is giving kids a fun activity while they're on spring break. The library hosted a scavenger hunt. Organizers hid camping items throughout the library's lobby. If a child is able to find all the items, they earn a prize. A number of pregnancies in Missouri are ending in tragedy. Missouri comes in near the worst in maternal mortality rates, ranked 42nd. Reporter Alexis Zoto has more on efforts to keep mothers and babies safe.
Inside Jama Birth Center in Ferguson, they are working to improve the maternal mortality rate in Missouri.
A lot of it has to do with access to care, but also when you think about the racial disparities, a lot of times Black and Indigenous people, they aren't getting the proper education and information about what's happening with their bodies, and so they may go home, they don't have support, and they don't understand the changes that their bodies are going through, and they have a newborn baby.
According to the latest statistics from the state, there are 39 deaths for every 100,000 births.
82% of those deaths were preventable.
Bianca Salas with March of Dimes will drive to Jefferson City to ask lawmakers to pass legislation that could make a difference. This includes Senate Bill 698, which calls to expand Medicaid from 60 days to a full year after a woman gives birth.
13 years ago, I was pregnant with her, and and I was on Medicaid. My eligibility ended at exactly 60 days, and I barely was able to see my provider one time.
Salas suffered from postpartum depression, which began a few months after her daughter was born. But the bill, which has bipartisan support, might now be in limbo after a lawmaker tacked on a new amendment.
My Senate amendment, which is the Defund Planned Parenthood amendment, is pending right now.
St. Charles County Senator Bob Onder says the amendment calls for no taxpayer money going toward abortion facilities. Onder calls this a procedural tactic.
The great majority of policy gets passed not as a standalone bill, but as an amendment to other bills.
But those working to keep mothers safe say politics could cost lives.
We are literally killing mothers by saying we're cutting you off at 60 days. And these are people who are low income and at the highest risk.
Again, that was Alexis Zotto reporting. A little bit later, Pitt State baseball looks to close out their series against division rival Northwest Missouri State.
Plus, after a relatively dry day, we'll have some scattered showers tonight and more rain chances down the road. Forecast next. Still seeing quite a bit of cloud cover from every vantage point that I have, but for most of us, though, we just kept things relatively dry throughout the day, and the clouds did have an impact on temperatures. We'll get to the numbers in a moment, but the live shot from Lenders outside of the, just outside really, the city limits of Joplin. You can see how 44's traffic moving along just fine, and the skies above staying dry, but it was the cloud cover that had an impact on temperatures. We went into the mid-60s overall yesterday, only into the upper 40s this morning, and we did see highs back near 60, but a little bit chillier as we expected compared to the quite mild and nice end of the weekend yesterday. Again, a lot of cloud cover made that impact on our temperatures today, but for much of the day, everybody was pretty much dry. But over the past hour, we've been seeing more moisture get pulled in from the south, and you can see how the radar is starting to come to life with some rain echoes popping up on the radar. But you can see, based on the color coding or the legend, it's really, really light, and that's to be expected as these rain chances get going. But you can see how along the 69 corridor and even a little more prevalent out in northeastern Oklahoma, that's where the rain chances are beginning and hinting at what some of us will have to deal with throughout the course of the evening and into the overnight hours. But Joplin proper, you're dry right now, still mild to 60 with the south wind at 11 miles per hour. Humidity definitely on the rise to 62%. Most of us are sitting upper 50s to near 60 degrees at the top of the 6 o'clock hour. Again, we managed to get this kind of mild again because of our south wind. Granted, a little lighter, so not as blustery today compared to the other day, but look at the northerly wind kicking in just to the west. That's the backside of the cold front that'll be marching on through tonight. So that's going to keep the cloud cover in play. Some rain chances around too. It's going to send some of our northwestern counties in the upper 30s tonight and everybody else mainly lower to middle 40s. Let's break down the overall setup because we do have our rain chances here, but we do not have to worry about any severe weather. That's going to be confined in parts of the deep south for tonight because they've got the better moisture, lift, instability. We got some of that here, but that's not going to result in any storms for us. But this main upper level wave kicking out along with the advancing cold front, that's what's driving our chances for scattered showers through the overnight. And even as we head toward the start of the morning dry, but you can see how once we get past 6 a.m. and certainly through the rest of Tuesday morning, these rain chances will be on the downswing. And we do expect some clearing as we go into tomorrow afternoon. But I think the cloud cover is going to be just a little stubborn to let go. So that's why I have Joplin starting at 46 in the morning, 55 by noon. Highs near 61. If we can clear out faster, we'll go a little warmer, despite that north breeze at 5 to 10. As far as rain amounts go for this first wave per se, less than 1/4 of an inch, so not a big soaker by any means. Fortunately, we're dry to start Wednesday morning and back in the lower 70s for Wednesday afternoon. So we'll enjoy the nice, dry and mild Wednesday. Then here comes the next system in Doug's pattern. From now, I think we could have a few thunderstorms late on St. Patrick's Day. I really think any wintry weather stays just outside of the region, but we'll definitely have our better rain chances with that system lined up for Thursday night and Friday morning. And maybe a little drop in temperatures by Friday, but overall, mild for this week. 61 tomorrow, 71 for Wednesday and Thursday. Quick drop into the mid-50s on Friday now. Then we're back well into the 60s for Saturday and Sunday.
Things are going to be blooming and growing very soon.
Yes, they will.
Thanks, Nick. Coming up in sports, Missouri Southern softball hits the field for a doubleheader against Lincoln. And Pitt State baseball looks for the 3-game sweep over Northwest Missouri. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
Pittsburgh State Gorillas have won 6 games in a row, and that includes the first 2 games of a 3-game series against the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. Now, Pittsburgh State tries for the sweep today in the series finale against Northwest. Now, they're down 1 in the first until Garrett McGowan finds grass in right center. Caden Fowler scores to make it 1-1. Now in the 5th, they're back down 3-2. McGowan back to work. He had a huge day. 2-run homer here to opposite field. 10th of the season gives Pitt State a 4-3 lead. And Northwest gets 5 in the 6th. But again, Gorillas fight back. Caden Fowler makes this one over the wall and right with a man on. 2-run jack. Pitt State rallies to tie it at 8 going to the 8th. Now in the 8th, still tie ball game. Guess who? Garrett McGowan nearly puts another one out off the wall to score Cruz Aranda. McGowan goes 3 for 4 and drives in 5. Gorillas up 9-8. Jordan Mendenhall would finish it off on the mound. Gorillas win a good one and sweep Northwest 9-8. Missouri Southern also looking for a sweep today. The Lions finish up their series on the road against Central Oklahoma. They rolled all day, winning 18-7. Matt Miller goes 3 for 5 with a home run and 3 RBIs. Henry Kuziak drives in 4. Southern is right back on the field tomorrow on the road against Rogers State. Pittsburgh State softball opened up league play with a doubleheader win Sunday over Lincoln. The Gorillas are right back on the field today, hoping to stay rolling against Central Missouri. They're playing 2 today in Pittsburgh. Game 1 here goes to the Jennies 6-3. Corey Stonestreet and Taylor Lambert each hit a home run. Stonestreet drives in 2. So now we go to Game 2. Pittsburgh State trying to earn the doubleheader split. And their bats were hot after getting 5 in the first. Maddie Szymanski goes to the left, scores Kylie Boley. Now still in the second, Gabby Schultz lifts this one to left field. Kind of a scary moment here. It goes off the left fielder's glove and over the wall. Now that's a home run for Schultz, but Aubrey McRoberts, she really smacked the wall out there. She would be okay though, walking off the field a few minutes later. Back to the action, Hannah Harrison, huge strikeout with the bases loaded to end the top of the 6th. She throws a complete game, allowing 2 unearned runs, striking out 6. At the bottom of the inning, Paxton Hayes puts it into this thing, puts it in the right field corner. Taylor Lambert scores, and that's it. Gorillas bounce back to take Game 2 in a blowout, 10-2. Missouri Southern softball also at home for a doubleheader today against Lincoln. They dominated from 1 o'clock on. Game 1 goes to the Lions 11-3. Kara Amos goes 4 for 4 and drives in 3. Josie Topai gets her first homer of the season. In Game 2, Ashlyn Williams goes 3 for 3 with a triple and a pair of RBIs. Southern wins a shutout to sweep the doubleheader 4-0. Finally, plenty of NFL news on the opening day of the negotiating period for free agents. Mitch Trubisky is signing a 2-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Trubisky was the 2nd overall pick in 2017. And will compete for the starting job with Ben Roethlisberger moving on from Pittsburgh. Teddy Bridgewater is headed to the Miami Dolphins after spending last season playing in Denver. And Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson is expected to meet with the Panthers and the Saints in the next 2 days. Other teams interested in Watson include the Cleveland Browns, Seattle Seahawks, and Philadelphia Eagles. And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Jack Franklin served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 1953 to 56. The Iola, Kansas native was stationed in Korea, and we salute Sergeant Jack Franklin, a 4-state hero. Kind of cloudy out there, Nick.
And for some, it's starting to give way to some light showers. It's going to be scattered. It's going to be off and on for some through the evening and overnight, but not a big deal, not a big washout. We'll dry out throughout tomorrow with highs back near 61. 71 and nice for Wednesday. Still mild for St. Patrick's Day, but that's when the next storm system will come knocking on the door.
Final sports news.
Double good news for Pittsburgh State baseball. They sweep Northwest today, but also Jordan Maxson was named the MIAA Hitter of the Week.
Wow, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.